Hi and welcome to the show. I'm your host Patrick Shearer and you're watching In the Studio. The show's produced by Davis Media Access and you can check us out at davismedia.org. The show's also broadcast locally on Davis Community Television. That's Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Uverse. Now, joining me today are Andre Martinez, Christopher Manheit and Brian Jensen, three young filmmakers from Davis. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for inviting us.
Pleasure to be here.
Cool. So first of all, how did you meet? Like, how did this all come together?
I know I met Andre first before I met Brian, and I actually met him at school. He was a grade higher than me, still is, I'm pretty sure. And he just, we became friends just because we knew each other, and eventually he invited me over and saw he liked making films and stuff. We made some films, just pastime. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I believe I met Manheit through Andre, and I know Andre namely because we live across the block from each other. So we biked to school because we went to the same school for a year, so we're biking buddies. And
So I met Brian through Chris and also through my parents when when Brian moved in. She's all, oh, you should meet this person, all this stuff, and so I guess we took it from there. Chris is an old school friend, known each other for a while, I'm pretty sure.
3-4 years.
Yeah, and we all got together. This other guy, Chris Farmer, which he couldn't attend today, unfortunately. But
he's a big part.
I met him at Holmes Junior High during some physical education classes. Got together, we got some acting and some stuff done. Started making films, and here we are.
Cool. So entirely independent of any school program or anything like that?
Well, occasionally we make a film for a school project or something, in case it's like extra credit or for a Da Vinci project or something, but other than that, it's totally unschool related.
Cool. So what are the main projects that you work on?
A lot of things with blowing up and shit.
That's
boy stuff.
All right.
It's usually kind of random explosions and guns
boys.
and blood and stuff.
But actually not that much blood, but we're okay with that.
We're starting to get some scripts to the actual shows and have it be a bit more.
Usually the storylines, they'll follow some sort of basis, like people who already are really used to firing guns and stuff, like maybe an assassin or whatever, find some universe-threatening problem, like I think in one video this Combine army or something begins attacking. Team up with a bunch of other people through sci-fi, insert your stuff here, and after a couple explosions it ends. Also, a lot of time we take ideas from video games or whatever, since we're kind of nerdy that way, and they have lots of explosions in those as well. So that's where we usually get our clips for special effects and stuff from music.
And is that where the interest started from, like action movies and video games? Or?
Really, it's really inspired from what we're exposed to, like video games, all this. We pull a lot of references to video games, kind of aiming toward the video game society, if you could even call it that. We're really speaking to other teen boys. And
making films for guys like you.
Yeah,
I just kind of started this by following Andre. Like, he'd say, hey, you want to make a film? I'm like, sure, why not? Eventually, I found out a lot of his films make it on YouTube and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, since there's a lot of really popular people on YouTube. And
they don't exactly get views, but I think our
we have 49 or something, don't we? That's pretty good for us.
Our best video has 50 or something.
Yeah. Cool. Well, something to build on. So how's the process developed? You mentioned you're starting to work with scripts now, so was it all kind of...
Well, it started just since I lived so close to him. When he just has an inclination to make a video, I come over and primary actor, and we just do whatever. Usually use his brother as cameraman or whatever we need him for. And
kind of just make up the story on the spot.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then some of our videos are they're made to be funny, so they're not... Some of it's a little bit strange humor, but a lot of it's just funny little skits and stuff. And so we just come up with funny things on the spot and film them, put in special effects later.
Yeah, so kind of brings me to my brother is also inspired by me to make films as well.
Yep.
So it's funny just to see how our directing styles are so different. Like, he uses extremely slapstick humor. Well, I'm more of geared towards seriousness, like saying jokes with a serious face so that it's funny that way.
Deadpan.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting how his brother will switch shots a lot more than Andre does.
Okay.
And so he ends up taking a little bit more like an actual movie feel where they switch around a lot, but he's not quite perfected that yet, so it's a little bit like the confusing sort of switching. Also, their editing styles are very different, where Andre kind of cuts to lazy corners occasionally, but Nick does everything, but not necessarily
A little excessive.
like physically possible or anything like that.
Bit cartoony and exaggerated, so.
Yeah, so working in more special effects or
Yeah.
Cool. Well, now we've got an example of a film that you guys make. It's an action film in Spanish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was originally intended to. Actually, I haven't shown it to my old Spanish teacher. I made videos with my Spanish class for some extra credit.
This was a school project.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really great. I was working with new technology like a boom mic and a boom pole, which I might use in my later films, since we can actually get scripts going in major projects rather than just hitting a roll. Let's film this. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's also breakthroughs in special effects, such as muzzle flashes from guns and
Actual
and
blood
one of
splattering
our
when you get shot.
It was also the beginning of an idea of a, I guess like a non-special effect with, you'll see it, it's the effect of climbing into the air ducts, where we don't actually have to climb all the way in, but just the effect of starting will...
Starting and finishing, it makes it look like
So
you're doing
learning how to
something.
do the simpler effects that show something without actually being too complicated.
Yeah, and storyboarding and things like
Yeah,
that.
and all that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's have a look at the clip.
Alto, estamos aquí. Momento.
De nosotros estás.
Sí. Abre la entrada.
¿Qué es tu código?
2457.2.
Bien. Ah, buenos días. ¿Qué?
Está muerto. Bien. Y no podemos ir a través de la puerta ahí. Pero vamos a través de esta puerta. Sí, vamos. Alto. Ahora. Sí. Tengo que ir a bordo. Cúbreme. Sí. ¿Estás bien? Sí, vamos. André. Maldita.
pero sé lo necesario.
Great, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about what went into that, because I noticed there was it seemed like you put a lot of effort into composing each scene and linking all of that together.
So that was one of the first ones where we started switching the shots more to make it a bit easier to follow.
Yeah.
We didn't do perfectly, because if you saw the scene with the sniper, it was a little bit like switch, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Okay, I think I get it. So we're working on perfecting that thing, and we did spend a lot more work on that one, trying to make an actual plot line and such.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to edit, as the fact the sniper scene, I didn't have enough footage, so I didn't know what to do with it.
Yep.
I tried my best to have the switching shot to make it a little interesting, but didn't really have the right feel, so I guess I'll take that for next time.
Yeah, no, I thought it worked.
It was the first time we had a script, which was nice. It was in Spanish,
Yeah.
but we still got guns in it.
Yeah, of course.
It's
It's
us.
got every gun in there.
It's us.
Now, yeah, you mentioned you're starting to work with more gear as well. So was that the case in this clip?
No, not really. This one was more of a summertime, let's get this done. I wanted to show this off to my Spanish teacher, just final out, like, okay, I'm done with Spanish, epic film.
This is what you
Finish
shot
it up.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of handheld cameras with the microphones from that rather than boom poles and things.
Right now we're using just a digital camera, much as we can do. We don't really have the budget to get a new camera, but when we do, we'll use it a lot, of course.
Do we have a microphone?
And also some of the, we have a boom mic.
We have a boom mic.
Yeah,
that
it
one
records.
I've only used in my Spanish film, the other Spanish film, not this one.
Yep.
I don't use it as much because it really is a pain to edit once I take out the audio of the actual camera.
Yeah, synchronize it up and mix it. And,
That's strange.
So we did find out about some gear that we can get, that we can make. Like one of the more simple devices is, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a really big thing that's basically two handles to hold the camera in the middle, so you can run with it without having any
like
bouncing.
a Steadicam.
Yeah. And I remember watching a clip that a friend made, which we're trying to get him to act for us because he's a really good actor. But he used this device, and he had a scene of him running in the woods, and it was pretty perfectly made. So we're kind of work on getting one of those for more epic running scenes and such.
Cool.
Yeah.
And actual moving scenes, because we never end up moving the camera because it's on a tripod.
And also we don't really have a cameraman. We're working on getting crew
set
assignments.
it up, compose the shot, and
basically,
then
act. We have
Whoever's not in the actual shot.
Yeah, the
gets
actor
to
closest
film.
to the camera runs over, hits it, runs over, and then
we
starts
do it.
acting. So.
Yeah, so people mostly just want to be in the production rather than just be offset and have only a place in the credits, which hopefully will work out, get crew assignments, and take it from there,
Actually,
And do you find, though, that you're enjoying the technical aspects?
yes.
To an extent. It really is a pain to do some of the things like, for example, the synchronizing we talked about earlier. But using the equipment out in the field, it feels professional. It really does.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, not so much the technical assets, but about being offset, a lot of the time, that's pretty fun in itself. Like Chris Farmer, who we mentioned earlier, he's writing the scripts for these now. He's also an actor, but he doesn't show up as much.
Yeah.
He's still like, without him, it'd be pretty hard to do some of this stuff since he's a pretty good comedian, and he shows up occasionally. So
He's
yeah,
the
it's not
kind of
like
guy who can just be funny without trying.
it's not exactly boring to
be.
be offset.
Yeah.
It's kind of the point.
Get to make the funny comments about how everyone was acting.
And are you still sort of, everyone does everything, or are you kind of settling into, particular people have roles?
A lot of us have certain things, like, I know a lot of the time I stay away from the technical aspects of things because I am rather inept when it comes to technology. Andre does just about everything. He directs, he edits, he acts. Nico does the same.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I always do the acting, and since I live so close to Andre, I'm always sitting over his shoulder and making sure he doesn't cut corners when he's editing.
Oh, yes.
We should
make
get someone
sure
to
that
bring
you-
in props.
Yeah, make sure that you do it the good, complex way.
Well, for me, it's really hard for me to decide. I want to act, I want to direct, I want to record and edit, and I think it's really up to me just to decide what I want to do. I think I'm leaning a little more to directing and editing, but we'll see.
He likes to be in charge. That's not wrong.
Well, and how is that changing the films that you're working on, though? You know,
because I actually have some direction now.
Yeah,
good, for starters.
Yeah, and do you guys find that a bit weird, kind of taking direction or instruction, or does it really work well for?
No, it's not weird.
It's pretty easy to get used to.
Yeah,
cool. I mean, he's not like yelling at us all the time.
Well, not all the time.
He's not
not
quite a Hollywood director with the stereotype of always yelling and stuff.
He'll get there.
He's not too far off, but he's not quite there.
I'm still here though.
Now, back to, I suppose, the technical side of things. What kind of software do you use? Because hardware-wise, you're sort of on a fairly basic shoestring. But software-wise, what do you do?
Well, the program I'm using right now is called Magix Movie Edit Pro 15 Plus. It's a bit of an old software. Yeah.
Still works though.
It still works. It's what we're using right now. Right now, I'm saving up for After Effects, so we can put in more stuff, and then eventually Action Essentials, which is an add-on to After Effects, that allows me to put in muscle flashes that are way better than the ones I currently have.
Okay, so we're talking more processing power, better built-in effects, things like that? Okay.
So I believe currently that you're using muzzle flashes from Google Images, right?
Yes, that was inspired by a YouTuber, I don't know if you've heard of him, Freddie Wong.
Yep.
He claims to have used muzzle flashes from Google Images, where he just takes it from the images, black screens it, which basically isolates the muzzle flash in itself, and just put it on the time frame. And
cool.
It's not the best way to get the muzzle flash, but
it works.
It'll be better with After Effects, but it's functional. At least gets the point across.
Yeah. And do you find yourself getting more involved in the filmmaking community, like picking up tips from YouTube and finding other people?
Yeah. Well, first off, I think my internship at DCTV is really helping out. Like we now have access to rental materials, which we'll get to using eventually.
Yeah, and it's good quality gear. So
yeah, I'm gonna try that out.
Yeah, it'll be good to have an actual camera.
Yeah.
That's something pretty good. I don't actually get much tips or anything from YouTube. I usually don't watch our videos because I pretty much know what they're about.
Yep.
Which keeps me away from the comments on them, obviously. Mostly everything I learn as far as getting better at acting is simply when Andrea says speak up or something in the middle of the clip.
Yeah.
And I just speak up. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Cool. Well, now you're saying before, you do mostly action film sort of stuff, but I suppose the scope of your work's pretty broad. It includes even Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did
Actually, one of us wants to be a Shakespearean actor.
We were going to film this originally, and Andre had not done the best job planning the arrival for everyone.
Yeah.
So I was the only one to show up to that the first time, so I had to cancel that one. And the reschedule I couldn't make it to, so
which is a real shame.
Getting to play Romeo. But
well, I had to play Romeo, and
he's really good at Romeo. He memorizes Shakespeare, which is really not easy to remember stuff, even the long monologues, really easily. And
I have
not many
all
people
of
do that.
the to be or not to be memorized.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's have a quick look at a clip from from some of your Shakespeare.
Yeah. So this one we only took 5 minutes out of because the original scene is just 12 minutes long. So.
Yeah, Shakespeare's long.
Yeah,
in general.
In general, yeah. All right, let's take a look.
Oh, come, let us rest. The day is hot, the Capulets abroad, and if we meet, we shall not escape a brawl. For now, these hot days is the mad bloodstone.
Thou art like one of those fellows that, when he enters the confines of a tavern, clasps me his sword upon the table and says, God send me no need of thee, and by the operation of the second cup draws on the drawer, when indeed there is no need.
Am I like such a fellow?
Come, thou art as hot as a jack in no mood, and any in Italy soon to be moved to be moody, as soon moody to be moved.
And what two?
Nay, and there are two such, we should have none, shortly, for one would kill the other. Thou, why, thou wilt quarrel with a man who hath a hair more, or hair less in his beard than thou hast. Thou wilt quarrel with a man for cracking nuts, having no other reason but because thou hast hazel eyes. What eye but an eye would despise such a quarrel? Thy head is as full of quarrels as an egg is full of meat, and yet thou hast been beaten as an addle, as an egg for quarreling. Thou hast quarrelled with a man for coughing in the street, because he hath wakened the dog that lay asleep in the sun. Didst thou not fall out with a tailor for wearing his new doublet before Easter, with another for tying his new shoes with a riband? And yet thou wilt do to me for quarreling.
And I were so apt to quarrel with thou ought, any man should buy the free simple of my life for an hour and a quarter.
The fee? Simple? Oh, simple.
By my head, here comes a Capulet.
By my heel, I cannot.
Gentlemen, good day. A word with one of you.
And but a word with one of us, couple it with something. Perhaps a word and a word and a blow.
Mercutio, thou consorts with Romeo.
Consort, dost thou make us minstrels? And dost thou make minstrels of us looking to hear nothing but discord? Here's my fiddlestick. Here's to make you dance. Zounds, concert.
We talk here in a public haunted man, either withdraw onto some private place and reason coldly with all grievances, or else depart, here all eyes gaze.
Well, that was great. I mean, it's not a typical thing for for teenage guys to be interested in Shakespeare at all.
That's probably true. Especially considering we blow stuff up a lot.
Yeah, so I guess we really needed a break. And also, Shakespeare, I just find it really interesting. Their language and also their plot lines. The plot lines are like the stereotypical Romeo and Juliet. You know, you have Romeo and Juliet, oh, Romeo, Romeo, where art thou? But really, it's...
Lovers that could not be.
Yeah,
and
it gets deeper once you start looking into it, and it's really interesting.
Well, and I suppose Shakespeare's also open to a lot of interpretation or personal flair as well. I saw the comedic clip, like you mentioned before.
Actually, the reason we did it like that, where we cut back to him in the kitchen, is because I just could not memorize that entire monologue.
Yep.
It was just so many strange sentences. Eventually, we cut back to him so I could literally be holding the script right there, reading off it, while we just simply inserted comedy to make it look like it was professional or whatever.
And
but
intentional.
Then,
Yes,
but then great use of filmmaking technique. Cutting back to to the guy on the bench. Oh God, please stop.
Actually, I think you also got a sample there of what happens when we try and move the camera like in action. We ended up cutting off the top of Ryan's head. Ryan was the other guy in that video.
He didn't really tell me he was going to do that, but he's a really dramatic person. He's going to be featured in our next film, Star Trek. It's
cool.
I forget the name of the actual episode.
We'll always
have a Paris. That's it. We'll always have a Paris. That'll be coming soon. So we're experimenting green screens on that. So
it's the entire clip is green screen, quite literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got some backgrounds from the Star Trek ship. Not entirely sure how he got those, but he basically just took the green screen clips of us and then it's gonna put them on top of the backgrounds and make it look like we're inside a starship. So
great.
That'll work.
And so
a little bit of a graphics
back to the Shakespeare. Ryan, he's a really interesting person. Also, we had him cast as a double role as.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
With the voice changer.
Yeah, the voice change, it really just helps with the distinction of characters.
Yep.
And the hat.
Yeah. And the hat, yes, we use that a lot. I also had to play a double role as a citizen, and I believe he had to play a double role as the prince.
Prince and Mercutio. Actually, if we'd played that a couple more minutes, I suppose you would have seen me stabbed, which would have been nice. That sounds strange. But anyways.
Yeah. So how do you go about like the voice change effect? That's a good example. Yeah.
There's a certain there's a list of effects I can apply to video and audio. With video, I can add chroma key effects, brightness, contrast. You change the color and distort it. Like, for example, make it black and white, or make it out of focus or in focus. Change the zoom, stuff like that. The audio effects, however, they're a bit more specific. Like, there's only certain clips I can grab, like certain echo effects or pitching the voice lower or higher.
I remember one time we ended up using the echo effect for a long time when we had a scene inside a parking garage, and we had
to give it that sense of space.
Yes, we had a
gunfight.
I believe it was like a police chase or something.
An epic gunfight that ended in a dance move, which was...
It was part of... Okay, basically we started chasing,
Lord.
both of us, me and Andre, were chasing Chris
Farmer.
through, the Chris Farmer, who's not here.
Yep.
We were chasing him through the parking garage. There was gunfights and stuff, and there was a lot of echo effect going on. And we chased him all the way up onto the roof, all the way over to the edge, looked over, turned around, took off his sunglasses, and then the peanut butter jelly music came on, and then started showing.
And the
we all
cops are
started
like, they're
dancing.
standing there. They're
And then
looking
he's-
at him, they look at each other, they put down their guns, and they start dancing as well. It's like,
And then the clip ends, and that was that's an example of our randomness.
Then there was the cameraman. He actually puts down the
Yes.
camera and
And then
joins the dance.
His brother took the camera, laid it down sideways, ran over onto to the shot, and started dancing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
that was pretty interesting.
Speaking about the echo effect, the gunshots, since we want to be realistic, we turned them all the way up.
Yep.
And then we added the echo effect and made them even louder. So every time I show somebody the clip, I have to turn down the volume just a bit.
Yep. Yeah, make
break
sure you don't blow their eardrums out.
Yeah.
Or the speakers.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, now, where do you see yourself going with filmmaking? Andre, you said you're leaning more towards directing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you guys? Is this just something fun you're doing, while you're in high school, or do you want to carry on to to acting college or film school?
I'm pretty sure. I just like acting in general. I've always had, it's one of those fantasies a lot of people have. You'll grow up, you'll become a really famous actor and get lots of rich and money. And that'd be wonderful, although I imagine I'd be better at playing bad guys. Just my preference. Andre said he was going to become director, and
He's an
you
amazing villain.
would probably,
Villain scene.
you'll probably grow up in either, if you're going to do any acting, it's going to be Shakespearean. So
yeah, definitely.
Brian actually would pursue Shakespearean acting.
I would like Shakespeare acting
Yeah.
and stuff. If I were to go into a more professional acting, I think I'd prefer live stage acting and stuff. But I definitely like making movies.
Yeah.
And such.
Well, and it's amazing how many actors cross over between films and and the theatre.
Stage work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With film, it's a little different. Like, instead of just memorizing all the lines ahead of time, which I'm pretty sure some directors do, but not as often, instead we just show them the script. All right, memorize a couple sentences.
Yep.
You should be fine.
Excellent.
And yeah, we just put them up, film them, and it's great.
We almost always have the script like offset as well. It's like you can just kind of look next to the camera and you'll see it there or whatever. So
But
Great.
it is good to have the skills of Shakespearean acting,
Yeah.
because when I do have a particularly long thing to say, I can memorize it all.
Great. Well, we need to wrap it up there, guys.
right.
But thanks so much for coming on. And of course, thanks to all of you out there for watching. Now, don't forget to go to davismedia.org. You can see this episode again, and you can watch previous episodes, as well as finding out more about the other programs we offer. I'd also like to thank Vaughan and Dan for crewing the show today. This has been In the Studio. I'm your host, Patrick Shearer, and thanks very much for watching.